So my name's Deb. I'm the founder of Find Calm Here. We take you from chaos to calm through conversations around wellness, well-being, healthy lifestyles, and all kinds of other topics. Today we're going to be talking about finding calm with energy, and we have Karen here. Karen's actually in the Harrisburg area, same place as I am, and she was at the original in-person Find Calm Here event, the very first one back in November of 2019. So she's really great at bringing everybody into this present moment. So we're going to talk about, Karen and I were talking about starting with a meditation to start off with to bring everybody here in the room. Does that sound good for everybody? I know you guys can't nod, Heather and Carolyn. I can't see you're nodding, but if you give me—
I am always up for meditation.
Yeah, there you go. I think Heather probably is usually too. So I feel like that's a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is it okay if I quick introduce myself before
Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So my name is Karen East, and as Deb mentioned, I'm in central Pennsylvania. I'm actually from New York originally, but I've been out in this area more than half my life now, so I feel like a native Pennsylvanian at this point. I started in the health and wellness field 15 years ago. I became a fitness trainer, and it was completely by accident. And prior to that, I was introduced to meditation in my early 20s, and I was going through some really traumatic life stuff at the time, and meditation helped me find a way back, and really took my path on a completely different, or took my life on a completely different path. So once I started connecting with the physical stuff through fitness and wellness, I found that mind-body connection was the really important key for me in really finding calm and having a balanced lifestyle, which, is my business now, is Balanced Life. So I'm excited to be here, and I would love for us to start by finding a little bit of a grounding breath together. So if it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes, but you don't have to. So some people like to actually fix their gaze on a point of focus that's physical, that you can see, like a candle, or even something that you can just let your gaze sort of soften on. So whatever is comfortable for you. And you can be seated, or if you prefer to lie down, that's also okay. There aren't a lot of rules when it comes to meditation. So really just allowing your body to become comfortable, but also remaining aware. So start by finding the very tip of your tail, wherever you are in space. And with your awareness, begin to travel up the length of your spine. Just seeing if you can naturally find that elongated spine all the way up through the crown of your head. You might even notice this feeling of a gentle pull down from your tail and a gentle pull up through your crown. And as you're starting to notice these things, just notice any other sensations that you're feeling or experiencing tonight. It might be a physical sensation, like the feeling of the clothing on your skin, or the feeling of the chair or the ground beneath you. Maybe you notice a tight or a tense spot somewhere in your body. With your next few breaths, simply allow those spaces to soften and to relax. Starting to harness the power of our own breath, become aware of the air traveling in and traveling out. You might start to notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Maybe you start to notice the air moving all the way down towards the belly. Noticing how your body empties. Just becoming present to the natural flow of your breath tonight. Without trying to control or change anything. Or simply becoming observers of what's happening. And through this observation of these physical sensations, we can start to anchor ourselves into this present moment. Aware, but relaxed. You might feel your shoulders relax away from your ears. You might feel a softness behind your shoulder blades. You might start to have thoughts creep in or occupy that space in your mind without judging that or thinking that it's good or it's bad. Just allow those thoughts to keep floating with your breath. Acknowledging and releasing. Coming back to the moment. Coming back to the sensations. Coming back to the breath. And we'll share a few minutes of silence together. Start to bring your awareness back to your breath. Maybe deepening. Noticing once again the inhale and the exhale. You might even notice the little pause that happens at the top of the breath. And the little pause that happens at the bottom of the breath. Start to come back to your physical sensations. Feeling the way your body expands and stretches as you draw breath in. And how you settle and soften as you allow breath out. And when you feel ready, you can start to open your eyes, gradually coming back to this space, the awareness of our little group gathered together. Thank you for that. Deb, are you still there? Don't see you anymore.
Yeah, I'm having some tech things going on here, so I've been trying to get Priscilla in for the couple minutes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, gotcha. There's some other people in the waiting room. Shall I put
Well,
them
it
in?
says Priscilla 3 times now.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you for letting me share that.
Yay, Priscilla made it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing it. That was very relaxing.
Oh, wonderful. So, Deb, do you want me to dive in here, or should I wait till you come back on?
Okay, I see that Priscilla's in now, so
Yes, thank you.
um,
Hi.
you're in here 3 times now, so I don't know why.
Oh, this is like the weirdest. Let me see if I can get out of here.
So
Okay, I think I got it.
there you go. Thank you. I'm sorry you had so much trouble.
That's okay. I'm just glad to be here now.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. We just finished, Karen had just finished with the meditation.
Okay.
And so then we were going to talk a little bit about the energetic body. I think Karen was going to start going over that a little bit. But before we do that, let me just ask, does anybody want to share how that felt for them, that experience of the meditation, or just feeling grounded, or any other feelings that are coming up for you right now? You know, Stephanie, Carolyn, Heather, any feelings there?
I feel like I could have really used that an hour ago when my headache was coming on.
Yeah, well, Carolyn, I'm glad you brought that up because actually I've also started the day with a headache, and I often find that, you know, it's really easy when you experience the sensation of a headache or any other injury, illness.
I think she froze up.
Say, for example, and that takes us out of the moment. And
Karen,
so then
there just a little bit. So if you could just repeat the last couple seconds there, maybe what you said, and you're freezing again.
Yeah.
The weather.
Can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, for anyone who joined late, we have some crazy storms rolling through here, lots of thunder and lightning, and my internet and electricity is a little unstable right now. So hopefully I don't lose you guys completely. But when we're experiencing the sensation of pain, for example, you know, it's really easy to get sucked into that sensation, and it takes us out of the moment of actually experiencing the breath and everything else that's going on. So I find meditation, I didn't take any headache medicine today, but, you know, with self-Reiki, which is a form of, you know, energy medicine that we'll touch on a little bit today, and meditation really has helped me to overcome things like that, illness and pain. Which is kind of what took me further down that road into holistic wellness. So thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to share about either the meditation or maybe your own personal experience with energy or energy medicine or anything that you're curious about that?
I was gonna say, like, I enjoyed the meditation too. It was grounding and like relaxing, and I tried meditation for a little bit, and I've kind of just like fell off that habit. But this kind of pulls me in and reminds me like I should be trying to practice this more every day.
Yeah.
It's a good.
Well, and practicing meditation is meditation. So, you know, it is, it's a practice, and it's, you know, you can do it for a very long time, you know, and it doesn't make it easy all the time. Sometimes I'm only just trying to even calm my mind, but repeatedly trying does make it easier, like anything else that we practice. And there are a lot of benefits, that calming, that centering, that stress management aspect. Thank you for sharing that. Did you have anything else you wanted to share about that? I'm sorry, I couldn't tell if you kind of trailed off at the end there.
Oh no, that was it. But I'm looking forward to your talk on energy. Like, I feel like I don't really hear much about it, so it'll be interesting.
Cool. Yeah. Well, did anybody else want to share anything before I dive a little bit deeper into that part? Cool. So I know it seems for some people a little bit like a woo-woo topic, you know, but it's actually becoming more and more mainstream. You know, studies are being done that show the benefits of combining holistic practices like meditation, you know, yoga, breath work, and energy medicine, as it's kind of all-encompassing. It's being called, a lot of different things fall under that umbrella now. But you know, coupling that with traditional Eastern medicine is what's it's having a really great effect for people to combine those two things. And so hospitals and nursing homes and hospice more and more are starting to embrace these holistic practices as complementary to traditional medicine. And you know, basically, right, every cell in our body is active in some way. There's all these sort of things happening just beneath the surface. And all of those actions and interactions are causing like a little vibration, a little energetic reaction. And so there's like this little layer that you can't see outside of our body. And I like to do this exercise with people so that you can actually experience it. And you may have done this before, or maybe inadvertently done it in another way and felt this. But if you just take your two hands and start to rub them together, you might already start to feel heat, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you rub them just a little bit harder, a little bit faster, you feel even more heat, right? That's from that friction, that rubbing together. Now go ahead and just pull your hands apart and close your eyes. And just notice.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
So just from that friction, that action, we're building heat, we're building energy. It's an energetic response, and you can actually feel it. And so practices like Reiki, for example, which is another layer of kind of what I do and what brought me to this experience, is using one person's energy, or you can even use your own energy to affect the energetic body in a positive way. And it, you know, it can be difficult to explain if you haven't actually felt it or experienced it, which is why I like to do that little exercise, because it's not something that we can see with our visible eye. You know, there are different types of, you know, photographic lenses and things where you can actually see, which is really interesting. I don't possess any of those things, so I can't take those pictures for you guys today. But my path brought me into this because I felt it. I felt that connection. And actually, Caroline, it's really interesting because my first experience with energy and the way that Reiki works and just how almost miraculous it was for me. I was on a yoga retreat. I was like early 20s, and I had my heart set on this weekend. I was like so excited to get away. It was my very first yoga retreat, and I woke up we got there like on a Friday night, and that Saturday morning I woke up and I had the worst migraine, like so bad. And we started practice, and I felt awful. I mean, I felt so sick from it. And the one of the women who was leading the retreat was a Reiki master, and she came over and she said, is it okay if I just put my hand? She knew something was wrong just because you could see the pain in my face, and she asked me, and I told her I had a headache, and she asked me if it was okay to come and just lay her hands on me. And I said, sure. And I was lying down. We were on our yoga mats. We were starting our day with meditation. And she came, and at the time I had no idea what she was really doing, but she said, explained that it was called Reiki. And she said, I'm just going to lightly lay my hands on your neck and head. And she just was like moving her hands around my head. And it was the most amazing thing in the world, because when she was done, my headache was gone. And I was like, what did you just do? Like, how did you do that? You know what I mean? And like for years, I was just fascinated by that experience, because I had never had anything like that. I've had migraines my whole life. And I'd never had it just disappear in such a dramatic way. Now, not everybody has, dramatic experiences like that. And it hasn't always, not every Reiki experience has been that way for me either, but mostly you feel very relaxed. It has a very calming effect, similar to like meditation and breathing or just breath work. And so that was really intriguing for me. And, I started in the wellness field as a fitness trainer, dealing with the physical body. And I noticed over time working with clients that, you can address the physical body all you want, but without addressing that other layer, that deeper layer that you really can't see, people just weren't having the same results. And they weren't really feeling well. And in my perspective, you can look however you want to look, and you can do all sorts of things to get there. It doesn't necessarily make you healthy, and it doesn't necessarily make you well or make you happy. And so I really shifted my focus to make sure that I was incorporating and including that energetic body in my practices. And it really, it changed my life. And I'm like happy to share it with other people, because, using that energetic body as an anchor for your awareness, for your meditation, and for your physical movement, and lots of other practices that you can layer onto that. It gives you something to keep centering back to, and it gives you that sort of practice that you can affect your own energetic body, just by becoming aware of it, and by feeling it. You might clap your hands together. How many times have you clapped your hands together violently, or in excitement, or, whatever it may be? If you do it now and you just clap your hands together really hard, if you wanted to, and then just take a moment to observe after, you can still feel that, right? Can everybody feel that?
Yeah.
So how often have you clapped your hands, and how often have you stopped to feel what's happening after, that vibration in your own energy field? And it's like that with all the things that we do. What we're eating, is affecting our energetic body. The way we're moving or not moving is affecting that energetic body as well. And so, my practice is really about not just addressing one without the other. It's about starting to become aware of how they interact with each other. And for example, with a headache, rather than just, treat the headache with like headache medicine or something like that. Maybe we can bring awareness to like our crown chakra, which is the energy center at the top of our head, and notice if we're feeling anything there, or we're, you know, maybe experiencing something in our energetic body that we can soften with our breath and let go of without the need for that. So in a nutshell, that's mostly what I do. Now, I mentioned the term chakra, which is maybe a term you've heard thrown out there somewhere along the line. It's very interesting to me that if you were to kind of dive back in history, somewhere around 4,000 years ago, in various different ancient cultures, they've identified similar or almost identically the same energetic centers throughout the body. And these days, it's widely recognized the same sort of 7 centers or chakras. And, you know, I like to use those 7 centers as the basis for my practice, where I bring my awareness. And if you practice Reiki or you experience Reiki, they're going to identify those same 7 centers. Aside from that, I think that, you know, it helps to know that those 7 centers are located in the areas of our body where there's a major organ or organs. So like the very base of our spine is the first one. That is our root chakra. And then from there, the sacral chakra, just below the belly button. And if you want to follow around and just lay your hand on gently or right outside of that center on your body, just below your belly button, your sacral chakra, this is where all our reproductive organs are. And just above that is all our digestive organs. These are our solar plexus. And up from there is our heart chakra. And just above that, in the center of our throat, around where our thyroid is, this is our throat chakra, where our voice comes from. Continuing to travel up just in front of that space right between our brow, and actually back from there is our pineal gland. And this is our third eye chakra. And then at the very crown of our head, above the brain, this is our crown chakra. So using those 7 centers, we attempt to, I want to say heal ourselves, but yeah, we can practice healing ourselves through that energetic body, in addition to our awareness of our physical body. Does anybody have 1,000 questions?
I was going to say thanks for that description. Carolyn, do you have a question there?
Yeah, I have like 1,001 questions, I think. So I've experienced Reiki before. I have 2 friends who've done it on me, and I had that same experience where my friend and I had gone to an outdoor concert, and I was having some pain throughout my body because I had just been in a car accident a few weeks before, and I was sitting at a new job, like I was at a desk all the time, so I wasn't moving a lot. And she did Reiki on me in the middle of this concert, and everybody's looking at us like, what the hell are you doing? But it worked. I'm like, I don't have this pain anymore, and this is amazing. Yeah. The other time I wasn't having pain, it just like felt really good. So when we can do this self Reiki, like I understand the chakras and where they are, but like, is that where you're like, are you pulling energy from that? And I guess I just like, how do you do that? How do you do that to yourself?
Yeah.
Like, how do you, because there's no friction happening between your 2 hands.
So there's actually courses that you can take that will teach you actually how to practice Reiki. There's a number of hand positions depending on, and there's different sort of schools of Reiki that have all kind of come from different lineages. So it's slightly different depending who you were to study with. But you can learn to do this for yourself and learn about the history of the practice and sort of how to go into that. We're talking about like several weekends worth of like 8-hour days. So it would be very difficult to explain exactly how to do it. But without, specifically doing Reiki, right, or a full Reiki session or practice, you can still bring your awareness to the places in your body where you're experiencing pain. And the most simple way that I can describe it is if you were to take your palm or your hand and say I had pain in my shoulder. Sometimes I do. And just gently hover your hand above your shoulder and imagine that you could send love through your palm, love and healing into your shoulder, into that source where the pain is. And just like we did with our meditation, imagine that each breath you took invited that pain to soften and release and just simply relax away. So that's the basic essence of it, is that we can communicate love to ourselves and to others through our awareness. A term probably, I don't want to be assumptuous, but you may have heard people say things like the power of prayer, right? Or something like that. It's like the thought that we can send loving intention to each other and to ourselves, and that actually has an effect on us. It's like when somebody gives you a warm hug and you can really feel their love. That's a real feeling. That's a real thing. And as humans, it means something. It has the ability to heal. We can heal each other with that love, with that intention, and we can heal ourselves with the same intention. As far as the transfer, are we sending or are we pulling away? It can be both. We can be both sending loving intention, and then maybe with your awareness, you feel that pain under your palm and you just want to like pull it out and throw it away. You can do that too. See what happens. There's not like a right or a wrong way to send love to yourself and to give yourself healing intentions. And there's certainly no harm in it, right?
Okay, I think I see what you're saying. So I guess it would kind of be like a more focused meditation on, whatever part of your body you want to feel better.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. I like that a lot. And, it can be your whole body. You can just, bring your loving awareness to your whole body, just in general, wishing yourself health and wellness. I love using the power of positive intention. Whatever it is that you want for yourself, state it in the present tense, in a positive way. So rather than, I wish I was well, or I wish I was healthy, say, I am healthy, I am whole, and continuously feed yourself that script. Because it does matter, what we tell ourselves. Mm-hmm. It's like, I always think back to, I don't know if anybody's heard of this book before. It's called The Hidden Messages of Water. Is anyone familiar with that? Really, really neat. So they took water. I'm going to totally space who it was, but the man who did these studies, he took molecules of water and they put them under high-powered microscopes that you could see the water molecules. And they took pictures of what happened to the water molecules when they said loving and kind words. And then also when they said hurtful or hateful things, right? And it is amazing when you see visually the results. So when you say loving things to the water, is that Ricky Friedman? She's the one who introduced me to this book. Ah! Ricky, can you hear me? Ah, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's so amazing. I was literally just came up in my mind the hidden messages of water and the images that you shared. And like as soon as I said that, I said, "Oh, this reminds me of the hidden messages of water." You popped up on the screen.
Yeah, I just happened to see that the link was now. I'm actually at the dinner table. I didn't realize you could see me too. I guess I should know that by now. I thought it'd be fun for Rory to see you. Anyway, I don't want to interrupt, honey. You do what you're doing.
No, that's okay. It just happened to come up, and it's so amazing because Ricky's the one who introduced me to that book. And I was just explaining to them what happens to the water molecules when you say loving words. They're these beautiful, like snowflake-like images. And the images, when they said hateful words or, awful things, it was like they broke and fragmented, right? So when you think about the fact that we're made up of about 65% water, I was talking about the power of positive intention and saying kind things to ourselves. Say those positive things in the present tense because it does have an effect. And if you're interested in visually seeing what it does when you say nice things versus when you say not nice things, that book is an amazing example where you can really see it. So
that reminds me about the experiment with the plants. Had you heard of that? I mean, there's probably been a lot of them, but where there's a plant that I think I saw one in a high school. The kids are saying really nice things to the plant A every day, and it's flourishing, and then plant E is just kind of ignored, and then or plant B, and then plant C is getting like hurtful things said to it, and you can totally see the difference.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
it really is. And you can feel it when you do it to yourself. If you find yourself in constantly negative self-talk, you start to feel really bad, right? But when you start looking yourself in the mirror each morning and saying, I am healthy, I am whole, I am worthy, all those things that you want for yourself, say them as if they're already true and just see what happens, right? So thank you for those questions, Carolyn.
Yeah, thank you for such good answers.
Anybody else? Ricky?
I don't feel qualified to ask a question because I missed the whole beginning of your talk. I'm just enjoying what there is to enjoy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Deb, did you have any questions?
So I don't have any specific questions, but I did want to mention that I dropped your website into the chat bar so that everybody can have the link to connect with you. And then I did drop the link because we're getting to the last 15 minutes of our call here. And so in case anybody had to pop off early, which I know Heather just had to pop off because she's packing for her move to San Diego. She told us about that in the last call. But she's in Ohio. So she's like selling all her stuff and like moving across the country. So she's super busy.
Wow.
But so she had bopped out, but I wanted to put the link in for next week's event, which is Find Calm with Organization. But yeah, and Ricky is the only person I've ever experienced Reiki. I always get this, your name and
Make me sing my jingle.
It's like a tongue twister. But I have had that experience once, but I would like to do it again. It just hasn't synced up, time-wise being available and being able to get in there and, have that experience. And I actually was going to talk to Karen about it before this whole craziness with the shutdown happened. Anyhow, I have been in Karen's courses and I found them super helpful. It's still something that I'm learning because I came from a place of this is crazy stuff, and even posting and making comments about being in this group, I had family objection and basically was told, what's wrong with you that you're even talking about this? So I thought, yeah, and I thought, well, I want to be open-minded. I don't want to have the perspective of this is something that I would never consider or even be open to just listening to people talk about it. So I think that's where the perspective of including you in this talk, in this conversation, there is going to be some other speakers that'll come on that are going to kind of talk a similar around this subject. But I thought it was something that maybe some people can benefit from. And obviously Carolyn, she's in Ohio and she's been talking about having a headache all day. And so I don't know, is there a practice that if we can't see somebody, I guess that was the only question I had, since we're not able to see people in person, maybe necessarily right now.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So there is a practice of distance Reiki. And we were just mentioned, like how I brought up, like, you know, you probably heard the power of prayer, the way you can send positive intention and loving thoughts and awareness to people, even from a distance. You've probably done it without calling it anything for a loved one who was sick or in pain. You know, immediately you think, oh, you love that person, and you keep them in your thoughts. You can do similar things with distance Reiki, where you can send that healing energy to someone from a distance, and it has been proven to be very powerful practice. So yes is the short answer to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I just did a Zoom Reiki share last night, and it was beautiful and powerful, and everyone felt the energy. So
Yeah. If you're aware of it, or you allow yourself to even think about it, like in the beginning of this whole shutdown, when we all moved to everything to Zoom, you know, Ricky was doing a talk one day, and I was listening to her meditation, and I was working in the garden, and it was like, you know, listening to her speak, the tears came to my eyes. I could feel this sort of warmth rush over me, and it was like I could feel Ricky's hug even though we weren't anywhere near each other, and just hearing her voice, you know, you can do that for yourself. So yeah, definitely. Anyone else have any questions? So I am doing the next 8-week series, starting not this weekend, but the following. The way it runs is we have like a private Facebook group, and each week we focus on one of those different energy centers or chakras. We learn more about it, and then we spend the whole week doing practices to get in touch with that part of ourselves. And so we do meditation, yoga, creative exercises. We have a weekly Zoom call. It's like our Sacred Sunday Share Circle now, where we have an opportunity to share with each other and feel that connection to each other with a guided meditation, and just practicing developing those skills. So yeah. If anybody has questions, definitely let me know.
I don't have a question, but I can just give a very personal testimonial because, well, obviously we love each other, so it's non-biased. But I've been working with Karen for years now as a personal trainer, and I've done her chakra yoga series. I know her, not only her skills and abilities, but also her energy and her integrity. And she shares a powerful and beautiful experience.
Thank you so much, Ricky. You're so kind. Yeah, I do work with people one-on-one, not just with what we've been talking about tonight, but, as a personal trainer for movement specifically, and meditation as well. And, I just always find myself kind of observing people and listening to what they have to say, and connecting that back with the energy system, and using that as a tool to guide people through their movement and their breath and everything else. So yeah, thank you, Ricky. That's so kind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
The only thing I was going to wrap up with is letting everybody know that we did change the FindCom here community. We are going to change the formatting up a little bit of what we had previously done. So the community is now a free platform, and you can actually get onto it right now. You set up a profile just kind of like you do. You can incorporate your Facebook picture. You can set up a profile just kind of like you do with Facebook, and then if you had a website, you can list your website there. If you have specialties, you can list those there and share your resources, and as well as connecting with Stephanie's in the FindCom Here community as a VIP member. Karen is in the FindCom Here community. Heather, who had left the call, she's going to be speaking to us in a few weeks. She's a FindCom Here partner, and Carolyn is also a FindCom Here partner. So Carolyn, since you're still on the call and we have a few minutes left, do you want to talk about your upcoming chat?
Excuse me. Hold on one second.
Okay. I know, I just called you out.
I had to clear my throat. I wasn't expecting. Sure. So I'm going to be doing a workshop on memoir writing, something that I've been doing for, I guess it's about 4 years now. And I do, like, I'm not writing a book, not doing a workshop on writing a book, just kind of short blog type memoirs. You know, the stories that we tell ourselves is kind of what gives our lives meaning. And, you know, we take lessons from the past and apply them to the things we do today and in the future. So I'm going to be touching on, I had one idea of how I was going to, like the theme that I was going to do for the workshop, but I'm thinking of something else right now. So I can't talk about it too much because it's still in development in my mind, but I've got a few weeks to get it going. Take a look at my blog. If you're interested in seeing my writing and where I'm coming from, it's caroliniam.com. And there's several tabs on there. You click on the Irreconcilable Contradictions tab, and that's where my blogs are. It's actually the homepage, so it'll come right up. And that's August 12th, right?
Yeah, I was just going to confirm the date. I have it down for August 12th, and I'll put the link in our chat bar there. So you'll want to bookmark that and save the date for your calendar because it's a little bit away from now. I've actually booked out into September with these FindCom Here events. So we've got some really cool things coming up. Next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we have FindCom with Organization, which Laura from the Central PA area is going to be talking about how to get organized and how that can bring calmness. I know Adrienne, we had Adrienne on a few weeks ago, and she was talking about minimalism. So it's just a different kind of clearing the clutter, right? Just different ways to do it. So hopefully you guys can join us for that next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then the following week, I don't have it up yet, but we're going to have Vanessa on. She's going to kind of be talking to this topic a little bit similar to the energy one. So when we get that up, then you'll be able to sign up and put that on the calendar. And at the end of the month, Heather, who was on earlier, and she's been on some previous calls, Heather used to be on a Navy ship. And so she's going to talk about finding calm in small spaces and how you can, like, even if you have a tiny, tiny place, you can create calm. So lots of exciting talks coming up with FindCom Here. Again, Priscilla, please feel free to, and Ricky, please feel free to join us in the FindCom Here community. The replays are in there under the topics section. I've changed that from a group to a topic. That's the one change that maybe people who are already familiar with Stephanie with FindCom Here, that's the one change I made today. In addition, we're going to have the replays available on YouTube and on Venmo. So I'll be putting those on both platforms. And then if you sign up for the FindCom Here community, you'll also get the weekly updates. So that way, if you forget about it, we'll remind you and you'll get the replay in your inbox. So those are some new changes that just happened in the last 42 hours. Does anybody have any other questions? Or any comments, any feelings? Everybody like staying cool in the crazy hotness of the summer.
Thank you for having me tonight, Deb.
I was just going to say thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom.
Oh, thank you for participating. Same. It's an experience because of who came tonight. So thank you, all of you.
Do we want to,
Thank you, Karen.
would everybody like to do like a quick, like 3-minute meditation to end?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
If you're cool with that, Karen?
Yeah, totally.
3,
All
5
the
minutes,
meditation.
whatever. If you guys have to go,
Obviously.
no worries.
Yeah. So just like we did in the beginning of our session tonight, take a moment to let your eyes soften or close. Just coming back to our breath, coming full circle. Noticing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. Noticing if during the course of this call you allowed any tension to creep in. And just starting at the crown of your head, inviting that space to soften and relax. And then allowing that relaxation to wash gently down the back of your neck. Softening the space between your brow, your eyelids, your jaw. Softening your tongue, and your chin, and your chest. Letting your shoulders and your arms and your hands all relax. Letting that wave of relaxation float all the way down your midsection, your hips, your legs. Relaxing all the way down to the tips of your toes. And as you gently settle into this place of relaxation, and we fall into a little bit of silence for the next few minutes, simply allow the thoughts to drift. Always coming back to your breath. Remember that you have the power to invite in this feeling of calm and peace anytime you need or want it. And then allowing your body to find this sense of peace and calm through your breath and mindful relaxation allows your body to be in a state of healing and grace. I'm so grateful that you all allowed me to share some practice with you tonight. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Namaste.
Thanks, Karen.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
I hope everybody has a good evening. Thank you all for coming. Sorry if you had the motorcycle that just flew by in my front of my house because there's like 12 of them now. But anyway, have a good night, guys, okay?
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Deb.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace all.